If you've watched some of my recent streams, you're probably familiar with this sound. Yeah, that's my CPU cooler, and it's been like that for the last half year. And it didn't matter what I was doing, whether I was turning it on, booting up Minecraft, or even opening up Discord. This was clearly an issue, both for my stream's watchability and my sanity. So I decided there was no better time than to buy a new cooler. So after a little browsing, I decided upon getting this, a Be Quiet Shutterrock 3, which prides itself on performance and most importantly, being quiet. Thought it was a no-brainer. So I ordered it, got it shipped, and it arrived a few days later. So once it arrives, I take apart my PC, and as I'm doing so, I just realized how big this thing is, and it's not gonna fit my case. This is it compared to like this box is like, that's about the size of it, right? That's it length. Turns out it was actually too wide for my case, so if I had it on, it'd be jutting out the side. So what do? I just thought, let's just not put the side panel back on once I build it. That makes sense. Anyway, everything was fine and good. I was taking apart the PC, everything was going well. That is until I actually tried to install the cooler. And spoiler alert, it doesn't fit the motherboard. Disaster had struck. Turns out searching up the wrong pre-built PC's motherboard, yes, I had a pre-built PC, isn't a great way to upgrade your computer, as the cooler was designed for an LGA 1700 socket, in which my motherboard is very much not. So, what would a reasonable, sane person do in this situation? I mean, what? It's only an $80 cooler. Just buy another one. It's no biggie. Wrong. Why do that when you can buy a brand new motherboard and case? Because this cooler is huge, which is exactly what I do. So, the same day I drove 25 minutes to the closest PC store and buy a motherboard, specifically an LGA 1700, which I know will fit the cooler, and on top of that, a new, larger case to go along with it, as obviously my current case would not be able to fit this thing. All in all, the case and the motherboard ended up costing me about $280. So now, almost $400 down, I head home to assemble the new parts. So I follow a PC building tutorial, and as most go, they start by placing the CPU in the motherboard. So I go ahead and do so, and the CPU is too small for the socket. Yes, that's right. I drove almost an hour and spent $189 on a new motherboard just to realize my 8th gen CPU doesn't fit an LGA 1700 socket. This isn't looking good. So what do? The store's closed at this point, so the first thing the next day, I get in my car and I go back to the store. To buy what, you may ask? A new motherboard? Maybe. Wrong! Why do that when you can buy a brand new $490 CPU on top of a new power supply? Why, you may ask? Well, after the CPU didn't fit, I decided to put the rest of the computer together regardless to make sure everything else fits. And thank God I did, because my power supply was so small. The cables did not reach anything. They couldn't even reach the closest socket. So there's another $150 to the tally. So I've just spent $650 on a new CPU and a new power supply. Okay. I think we're done with the spending at this point. So once again, I'm on my way home from the store. This time very confident I have all the components needed to finally use what is practically a new PC at this point. So I get home, put it all together, and switch it on. And it works. It turns on, it's all good, right? So what's the first thing you do with a new PC? It's a new motherboard, so nothing is there from my old one. I can't use my old motherboards, like whatever it was, the operating system. So now I have to install Windows. So put it on a USB, as you do. So I plug it in and start to initiate it. And lo and behold, the Windows installer does not recognize my M2 SSD to install Windows on. And I can't do this with the hard drive that it was recognizing because that doesn't work. You need the M2 to work. I kid you not when I say I spent the next 7 hours of my life just trying to troubleshoot this thing. I was unplugging, replugging, reading thousands of Reddit threads, and I couldn't find a way to work. It got me nowhere. At this point, I'm at a loss. I don't know why I wasn't recognizing the SSD. I don't know why nothing was going right, but nothing was going right. So I just assume it's the SSD's fault and not Gigabyte's BIOS not recognizing it. So what do? Spend more money, because why not? I determined it's probably the SSD's fault. I mean, it was pretty old. It was on a pre-built PC. I assumed it was proprietary. So let's just get a new SSD, right? And since I've already spent just under $1,000 at this point, I decided to go secondhand and look at Facebook Marketplace. I come across a guy, he's selling plenty of M2 SSDs for $30. So I message him, get it sorted the next day, drive an hour to where he lives, buy it, we have our exchange, and I head back. So it's 2 hours I spent just getting a little SSD. Anyway, Back home, I take out the old SSD, put the new one in, and pray that it works. And thankfully, it didn't. It wasn't recognizing this one either, which means I couldn't install Windows, I couldn't install anything, and I couldn't use my PC. All I could do was play around with the BIOS. So at this point, I kid you not, another 7 hours of troubleshooting. I give up. I messaged some like tech support company saying, hey, can you come in? I can't get my PC working. It's not recognizing this. I can't do anything. And I am done at this point. But anyway, that's organized. A guy's coming in 2 days. Great. But I decided to do some more searching just because I was not giving up at this point. I'm officially $1,000 down and have a practically new PC that isn't working. So I wasn't going to back down just yet. So after I call the guy, I do some more tinkering, do some more reading, and I find something about a VMD drive, which stands for volume management device, which is found in the BIOS. And apparently that, for whatever reason, stops the Windows installer recognizing an SSD if it's enabled. So you'd think after 7 hours I would have found this initially. I don't know how I missed this, but of course that worked. It recognized the M2 SSD and I was in. I could use my PC, it was working, I closed it all up. I was so relieved. Oh my goodness, the amount of trouble and money spent in this was insane. This was so unnecessary. So I closed my PC up and got back to work. And now thankfully my PC is no longer a jet engine and it was worth every penny. Oh, and side note, when I bought the case, the guy at the store said it would fit my CPU cooler because he looked it up, like this thing was like 165 centimeters long. When he looked up the case to find one that has that width space for a CPU cooler, it said 160 on it, so 5 centimeters short of what I needed. And I was like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah, it'll be fine, man. I'm just like, okay. And I kid you not, there is like a hair's difference between the glass case and that cooler. Like, it is, I'm looking at it right now, it's like right on the edge of it. I don't know what I would have done if my PC case didn't even fit it in the first place. The new one I bought specifically to fit this cooler. Anyway, I'm glad that it fits in there all snug. I mean, the CPU cooler has caused me so much pain. Unnecessary pain, I may add you, but pain nonetheless. So yeah, that's how an $80 CPU cost me $1,000. And you may ask, couldn't this all have been avoided if you just bought a new CPU cooler, saving hundreds of dollars? Yes. Yes, it would have.